Good morning. It's March 10th, and it's obviously been a crazy ride yesterday and today. What's been going on? Well, in brief, if you've been reading in detail, you know the details, but in brief, Silicon Valley Bank, which is a bank around here who banks a lot of entrepreneurs, venture firms, and the like, had a run on deposits, and then they have these securities, which typically, they think of as cash or they're available for sale that lost value. So they don't mind too much unless they actually have to sell those to fund the deposit hole. And what ended up happening is rates went up. Obviously, any kind of bonds, even if they were very safe treasuries or other kinds of fixed income that was very safe, they had to mark down and take as a loss. So that creates an issue, especially if there's more run on deposits. And hence now they're in a huge credit crunch where they might have to sell themselves. They weren't able to secure funding yet. Maybe they will, maybe they won't. And that's really put a risk mark on the rest of the market. So we're going to jump in and talk about financials today, which is probably not a surprise to anybody, and go to the Longbow dashboard. So I populated a tab with a few things you might be looking at. I obviously can put other names on, so can you. But I gave you the financials ETF here in the States, XLF, the regional banking, KRE, gave you some nice JP Morgan, who might be maybe thinking about scooping up those folks who have been halted today or looking for a partner, Schwab, First Republic, which is one of those, and Wells Fargo. So as you can see, and this one's jumped around a little bit, they're oversold, obviously on risks of contagion, other kind of fears. A lot of these have been halted, as I said, at different times. But one of the things that's really useful to mention is you see the Longbow core signal here. So you see some of these showing long. So what does that mean is that a lot of other signals are coming into fruition, not just the trading range of being an oversold signal with upsides, which we haven't seen in these kinds of things. Even JP Morgan, right? 9.7% upside, 5-to-1 upside to downside in terms of the odds. Regional banking obviously is going to be a bit higher, that 26.5 odds versus 9.7. But you see these Longbow core signals and then this signal strength. So we're actually getting some greens. It's not just white like with the neutral, but you're getting greens and some pretty strong bars. We're looking at momentum indicators that drives it a little bit, but some of these are bearish, like the regional banking. You've got Schwab and First Republic, but then other ones are neutral. And so if you're looking for securities in the financial sector, obviously you got to do your fundamental due diligence, but you might want to put them on here and take a look. They're obviously all at the implied volatility premium. You can see the huge premiums. People are super worried, buying up protection today and yesterday. And so we would look for these for some types of opportunities. If you don't have the ability to do the research, then that's when I would say you'd be looking at the ETFs, which then you're getting a basket versus just picking individual stocks. But we'll dive into the XLF just to show you one in case it's not on your list. But as you've seen here, you've seen a massive widening of the trading range. It means people really don't know what's going to happen. The potential outcomes are much more great. And then the white line below the green line, which means that it's below the trading range, bottom end of the signal. So you can do this type of analysis and see how well this has worked over time. It's been pretty much staying in the trading range till more recently when people have been concerned about contagion. But the one nice thing about an ETF, as I said before, does it contain a basket. So it might have some winners, might have some losers. You might not have to do that fundamental due diligence, but for those of you doing the fundamental due diligence, highly recommend putting the individual securities on here so you can take a look at them individually. So for a bellwether like JP Morgan, it's been staying in the range, but you see here, it works pretty well when you're hitting the low end. We get near the top here. Okay, now we're here near the low end of the range. It bounced a little bit. But you can see how well that it's been working in case you are looking to go long financials, short financials, trim financials, use the options market. Really helpful for the technical signals in addition to your fundamental work that you're doing on the sector. That's it for me today. There's obviously a lot of wood that's going to get chopped today, so we might even be looking back at the financials on Monday, but reach out to us if you have any questions. Thanks.